Okay, let's paint this using watercolors. First step is to get the draft done by using a pencil, or if you're confident enough, you can go ahead and use a pen. Either way, my second step is overlining it with a fine line. Now when drawing your outline with your fine liner, always keep your hand relaxed and draw a very loose shape or structure of your object, your subject. Doesn't need to be perfect straight lines. Wobbly lines are what makes it more unique and personal. If some things feel out of place or it's too overwhelming, break it down, make it up a bit until it makes sense to you. You should always be looking at your reference more than you actually draw. Now continuing the same process, I'm going to speed this video up a bit, but just continuing to draw the rest off the outline. Okay, now we got the basic outline all done, and the only thing is, do not know if my pen is waterproof or not, so I guess we'll find out together. Now, time for the watercolor part. Okay, now here are all my tools. Got your paints here, your palette, and I got some brushes on the side. I have a camera here. Towel and some water just in a cup. It's quite big, but small is it? Small, big cup doesn't matter. We're gonna go for yellow ochre. Take some blue. We're gonna use this ultramarine, or let's see this one, cobalt. We're gonna use ultramarine. We're gonna go to the greens and get some sap green, and then we'll go to our browns, which is quite important for this painting. We'll go for a Van Dyke brown, or if you have burnt umber, that works as well. Oh, this one I can't even open. So darker brown, and you want a lighter brown. This one I'm using burnt sienna, just one of my favorite browns. And then we're gonna skip the blacks, and we'll go to white. White is quite important to show the depth and the watercolor paintings. Okay, that's the color we're gonna use to start off, and then we're just gonna come back to our paint materials if we need any more other colors. Okay, final step is the painting part. Now, there's a few different methods of approaching watercolor, but what I like to do is, just for landscape, is take a bit of water and to wet the canvas first. Okay, maybe a bit more. Okay, now we can see that the pen is not fully waterproof. It might drag some lines, but it's okay. The Japanese saying wabi sabi, right? Find beauty in imperfection. So now we let that soak in, and that kind of preps the canvas a bit. It's gonna warp a bit, but that's okay. We can always fix that later. Then we can take and focus on areas and just block in the simple colors. So we're gonna take some of my browns. We're gonna start on the buildings. I'm gonna take my brown. And just kind of block it in there. If it's a bit too much color, just wipe it on your cloth, in your brush. And just like that. If it drips, just let it drip. No, we use a big brush. Always use a big brush to start. Because the smaller brush you use, the more you focus on details, which then will ruin the whole piece because you lose the overall feeling of it. If that makes any sense. So not enough color there, so just go back to your palette. And that's a different color. So that's that main brown area there. You can see here that there's a bit of brown seeping down. You can either leave it or you can take a clean brush and then just get a wet one and just wipe it out. There we go, spread it out. Makes it less better, more better. We're gonna leave these white ones for last because they're wet, so. And then we're gonna focus on maybe the roof first. So we take some blue, brown, the dark brown, and then some white to get that gray. Might added too much brown. If you added too much brown, just add a bit of blue. Just keep adjusting until you get like a brownish shade. Like that. Oops. I'm a bit out there, but it's okay. And back here as well. Just that. Now again, I went out a lot there. So just dab it, move it down a bit. Now we'll go into the sky anyway, so we can blend that in. Speaking of which, I forgot to do the chimneys here, so those are also brown. I mean, gray. What else is gray? This building here is slightly gray, but also a bit more purple. So, I forgot red. So let's go back. I have purple. If you don't have purple, just put blue and red, but I do it purple. In my case, I'm gonna add a just small hint of purple. Just separate part of your palette so you don't get your other colors mixed up. Maybe make a new gray as well. Let's see that color. Yeah, I'll go with that. It's a bit too purple, but yeah. Let me a bit more gray in there. Okay, that's better. Okay, now we're gonna do the sky. It's quite gray, but so let me just take my pencil again. I'm just gonna use my pencil. Let's mark out where we want the clouds. I'm gonna totally make this up. I'm gonna have it like cloud here and cloud there. So this is blue. This part is blue. So then we're gonna leave the clouds alone. Take your blue. Put a tiny bit of brown. And then take some white. Now this color, I feel like it works for the midsection. So depending on what color you end up mixing, but basically I want this half to be more darker and more saturated. The closer it is, the more saturated the color, or the deeper the color would be. It's a bit too deep now. So let's go back, add a bit of white. So depending on what blue you choose. But might add a bit of purple in there, get like a sunset going on. And some burnt cyan in there. I can always do that later, okay. I feel like there's too much color on my brush, so just kind of wipe it clean. Because if you get too much color, then it doesn't really become watercolor. Add some water there. Spread it out. If it drips like it's doing now, just take some paper towel and just... That's just meaning too much water's on the canvas. And then the further you go, the more white you add to add distance and depth. Because the further there is, the more atmosphere there is, meaning the more white because of clouds. Okay, again, it's dripping there again. Just wipe it away. I'm gonna let that dry. You can go for a second layer if you want to add more of a layered feeling. Now let's go into the bottom. Let's focus on the grass and the trees. So green. A bit of green here. And I'm gonna add some of my burnt sienna, just the lighter brown. You can add a bit of yellow. I'm using orchid yellow. And then find the darkest areas. So this is like the shadow area of some trees that we see in this area. Some here, a bit in this one. Add some here. Add some there. Maybe some here. This should be enough. Okay, now we're gonna go back and go green. Green. Now I'm going to use pure green. I'm using sap green. Let's put that in. So now the tree is relatively the same color. I'm going to go back to my colors and then add more of a brighter green. So you can use yellow green called on my watercolor set here. Okay, now we're going to finish off blocking the colors by going into, I'm going to go here first because I forgot about that. That's the brownish fence thingy, whatever that is. So we'll go back and use a bit of green. That's too brown. But let's make it a bit darker and a bit more greenish tone because there's a lot of green around it which affects the overall tone. So add a bit of blue to make it darker. Yeah, I like that. We're gonna leave the white parts as white as we can, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna block in the windows for now. So take a clean part of your palette, and you can either clean one out or use a bigger palette than me. Just go right ahead. And then clean your brush. Now we're gonna make a black. I don't like using black because it's just too pure and there's no like, you can't really see layers of it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our own black by taking blue. We would take some brown, the dark brown, burnt umber, and then that already deepens it, which is pretty much good enough for these windows. So I'm just gonna go in. Actually, I might use a smaller brush for this. Just block it in. Now play with the shapes, because could be like, you can do like an L here. Oh, let's take the dot. But you can do like an L there to show that there's a curtain there or something like that, or a light, you know, the shadows. So you don't have to fill in the whole thing. You know, you can leave some whites like here, you can leave some whites there. And you can also make some places darker, for example, if you're going again, just place that really good. Now don't focus on the values right now, like how dark it is. Like this one's darker than this one, for example, in the photo. But right now, just block in the same color. That was by accident. And then you can go to second layer, focus on the windows that black darker. So like here is darker, so you go back in. And here it's like a half of it that's really dark. And up here, you can also see not part of the window, but part of the roof part that goes darker there. So now I'm gonna fill in the gaps of the green area. So just take a smaller brush and then take a darker color. So make dark color, and then those gaps will just be a shadow basically. So put some green, add dark green, some blue, and then some burnt sienna to give you a darker green there, like that. There's too much color. Get more water, adjust, and continue. Now when you're filling the spaces, you're not just filling it in, you're also like choreographing where it goes, which direction the leaves are in, and then using your brush to show the leaves. Some that go left, some go right, some go down here. Don't have to fill in all the gaps. You can come with a different color again, or just come in with straight yellow. Get some highlights in there. I'm gonna come in with a cadmium yellow. Just straight yellow, some water, not too much yellow, but some water, and put it on the paper. Honestly, though, it's not like I could have had it brighter, but just fill in the gaps. Basically, you want less color, more water, so it drips down, becomes more transparent, because that's what watercolor is all about. And when that dries, I'm gonna work on that again, because that wasn't very good. Darker here because of the shadow areas, and the roof is like darker here and here. Hopefully it is dried enough, and go down here a bit. Add some behind the trees. Now this just makes it more three-dimensional, as the light and shadow is being used. Lastly, you can use the same color using now, add a bit of blue and white, and then that would be the shadow color for the cloud. Again, too much color, so wash your brush. And then you can use a clean brush to blend the clouds with the sky here. And with that pretty much done, that's the finished piece. Let it dry for a bit, but that's just a basic run through of how to do a watercolor sketch. Very loose. Could be a lot more detailed, but I like to keep it very loose and show my brush strokes.